This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, I have to confess, I have actually been gone for the last 2 weeks, so I always love to be able to, the fact that I can pre-do our shows and always keep current, so you never get old recorded stuff, that's always fresh. And I'm back, and I have to tell you, the Publishing at Sea cruise, which we've talked about a few times on the air, was so great. 21 amazing authors, a variety of strategies came up, including some fabulous ahas that we will share as we move along. And one of the ahas, I actually opened up the whole program with this thing called the business of authoring, and that publishing and authoring is strictly a business. And actually today's show is going to tie in perfectly with that because it's about systems. But more, it's about the missing pieces in most systems where it comes to authors and publishing and books and marketing and everything that we do on our websites and out there in cyberland that few of us really know. So with me is someone who's going to reveal the secret. And as I said, it's all about the missing piece. So if you're like me, and I'm up to my eyeballs in social media, it's always the question of where do you go and how do you do this and what's new, what works, what doesn't work, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Google+, Instagram, what it is out there. A lot is repetitive for people saying this is what you all should do, but they seem to keep bypassing this one goodie that Marty Dickinson is going to reveal. Marty is the co-author of the web marketing all-in-one for Dummies. He's also a 20-year full-time web marketer. He's a certified platinum-level service provider for CloudNet 360. And I guess I need to disclaim that I am a user, known as, a lot of people know as Premium Web Cart. I've used it for many years, happily, with few screw-ups, which I always like. And they're doing a rebrand called CloudNet 360. And then what he's going to do is he's going to talk about really a new discovery he's made that simply no one out there is talking about when it comes to selling more books, getting more speaking gigs, or just simply running your business. So what Marty claims is this one missing piece is the key to our consistent growth in the ever-evolving, morphing, changing community that we live in and work in. So we're going to jump right in. Hey, Marty, how are you today?
I am just terrific. Thanks for having me once again on your program. It's been a long time.
I guess too long, huh?
Too long, yeah.
Hey, no, I had to send you out to find the secret.
That's right. I had to go out and explore, huh?
So there you go. So let's jump into this. So what are, we had a lot of things on our laundry list that we wanted to go into, and I'm not sure where you want to jump in it. Do we want to just tell them up front what the secret is?
Well, sure. I'll just share my own example because that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah, or do we want to kind of build it up? Like I have a workshop later on, like right to hot and right to climax. So do we want to build it up?
Yeah, it is kind of a building up approach because I think everybody kind of has to understand what we've all been taught. We've been taught over the past several years of this whole web marketing thing out there that, gosh, we need to go out and get now a responsive. You can't just get a website anymore. It has to be a responsive website that works on cell phones and all that. And you have to be blogging every week, at least once, maybe twice or three times a week. You have to build a list. That's not new news. We've been doing that for years. You have to offer a low-end product, upsell. You have to find and train affiliates, SEO for your website, get on the top of Google, AdWords, Facebook. I mean, you kind of see where this is going, right? We're taught to do so much lead generation and traffic building and all this effort out there, like you brought in Pinterest and Facebook and all the work that we're doing out there. And then throw in, gosh, as business owners, we're always trying to grow residual income, and go get a members site and add more content and spend more time. And it just seems to snowball. And really, you go to a conference and you hear all these people talking about all these ways to do things, and everybody in the audience is just kind of looking at each other saying, how in the world am I going to even find time to do all that stuff? So that's one challenge. But then once we do figure out how to do all those things and do all that lead gen and all that work to get the traffic to our websites, what happens? Well, we wind up spending sometimes 5, 10, 15 hours a week chasing viruses on our WordPress websites. We don't have products talking to each other. The websites aren't talking. Plug-in breaks. A link to our shopping cart suddenly vanishes. I mean, all kinds of things happen. So we're on the phone with our tech guys, and we have to find programmers, and we wind up spending so much time doing that. So my point is that we were originally taught to go out and get all these pieces all over the place. You've got to have the website software, the shopping cart software, the membership site software. If you're a coach, you have to have scheduling software, and then there's project management software. If you do services like I do, you've got to keep track of what you're doing. And none of these things talk to each other. It's just bananas. So that's what I've discovered is the power of having all of this information occurring at the same time, having all of these pieces in one spot so that you don't have to worry about chasing technical issues all the time and having things going down and hackers getting into your websites and things. I personally think those days are just on their way out because, I mean, the average person, the average business owner, author, speaker that I know and work with uses at least 8 different software products just to manage what they do on the web. And it can go up from there. I mean, 12, 15 different softwares. So to chase those technically is just taking up way too much time. So the missing piece is that technology is advancing, and there are products out there that you can have all of these pieces that you've been using for tools all under one roof where you're essentially automating your entire business.
All right, so where's the sanity? Where does the sanity quotient come in? I mean, Marty, everyone feels overwhelmed. And with every new thing that comes on, that the glaze comes over in the eyes, and the deer in the headlights, and people want to know, when do we dump it? I have to tell you, one of the things that came off, we had quite a discussion on the Publishing at Sea cruise about the use of ads. And the consensus with the group was that it wasn't paying off, at least in Facebook land.
I can imagine. A lot of money is being spent in Facebook for sure.
Yeah.
And just a little tidbit about Facebook, just to deviate just for a second, is there are a lot of different ways to advertise on Facebook. And one of the greatest ways you can save a lot of money in advertising through Facebook is to drive your visitation that you do create to a page. I was just talking with a client this morning, and they're spending $2.50 a click to get people to their website from Facebook. And I'm like, gosh, your costs are going to go down by like 80% if you just bring people to a Facebook page. And it's stuff like that's not new news. That's been around for a long time. It just goes to show how many little tidbits of information there is to learn out there. And that's really where you should be spending your time, is learning all these techniques and tactics and how to find people to help with these things if you don't want to do it themselves. But you as the business owner are in charge of every single visitor that comes to your website once all that work is done. And the days are gone when when they just come to your website and then just vanish. You have to treat every one of them, like every visitor, like they are gold. And that includes once they come into your network, you need to provide them with what they really need to have, and it has to happen faster. And that's the other thing, is when you have all of your content, all of your contacts, your leads, your customers, and your sales paths, and all these things that you hear about as strategies in one integrated system, those sales happen faster because you're able to bring people in through. So many people have heard about the sales funnel process, and Ryan Dice is famous for putting together the entire plan for producing sales funnels and having people come in through a free opt-in form, then upselling, downselling, cross-selling, and it turns into a big plate of spaghetti. For you have your lead, your person going through your system through all these avenues, and it just gets so conflicted and confusing, and you get sales out of it, but here you have to be a technician to practically manage that kind of. And that's what I'm saying, is that I think those days of things happening so manually and standalone.
Yeah. You know, and I think, Marty, what the issue is that a lot of times that when it becomes that overwhelm, or that all of a sudden we need a PhD and all this stuff, is that authors choose to say, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm just not going to do it, and they just keep going on.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And the other factor, of course, is just simply money. I mean, you spend a lot of money to put a book together if you do it right, and we all want to have books put together properly and correctly and have the right components produced. Mm-hmm. Gosh, so many people, by the time they're done with that process, they just don't have another $10,000 to lay out for a $5,000 custom, designed website, and then get a big fancy system that you're paying $2,000 up front to use. It's just such a money drain. So
it is.
So that's my point too. Is that technology is changing, so the prices are getting better, and companies are getting more advanced, so they're able to make their product much simpler to use. And that's a big if.
Okay, so hold the if. You need to hold the if, because we need to go to our first break. So basically, we have set this up. So when we come back, Marty's going to reveal the big if. And the big if. Okay, this is Judith Briles, and you're listening to Author U, your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz pizzazz, punch, and panache. Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
This is the TogiNet Radio Network, broadcasting quality programming to the world.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so today's show is all about the critical missing pieces, but what my guest, Marty Dickinson, who is the co-author of Web Marketing All-in-One for Dummies, says there's really only one missing piece when it comes to web marketing and what you need to know. So we're going to jump into this and take a look at it. And when we left at our break to hear from our fabulous sponsors, we were at the big if. So Marty's going to come back and now reveal the big if. So here we go, Marty.
the big if. Sure, yeah. And that is that you want to align yourself with a company, get into a product that will help you manage your business with all the tools you need to really make a presence on the web and manage all of those customers. And the big if is you want to align yourself with a kind of company like that if they are willing to evolve their product. There are a lot of systems out there. I don't need, I'm not a product basher. I don't need to do that. There are just a lot of systems that have been out there for a long time, and people are just used to going to those products because that's what their association represents, or there's some guy that shows up there at every meeting, and they just go with that. But the product hasn't changed in like 10 years, and that's just not the way business works today. I mean, my own example, I had a services business where I had up to 14 people on my team, and then, gosh, I just started wanting myself to evolve, so I started doing less services that needed so many people. And I started just kind of by attrition, letting people go their separate way and finding greener pastures and things. And suddenly it was just me and two other people. And I thought, now, how can I do the same amount of work that with all these people that we did together and still grow my business? So that's what I was in search of doing. And so I tried everything out there, and I've supported all these products that have been out there for 10, 15, almost 20 years when I started. Some of them are still around, but that's the point, is that they just do not change. So that's my challenge to you, is find products that allow tools to help you in your business, but you have to ask that question if that company is willing to evolve their product and you're continuously seeing new enhancements to their product.
And the thing is that I think that you have to you've got to be with a company who is not stuck. I mean, I can tell you in my original email marketing, I used Constant Contact. I mean, you and I both did, right?
Sure.
And that and also I used One Shopping Cart. That was my
Yep.
shopping cart. And I didn't see much evolution going on. And it just kind of stuck. And yet everything else was kind of tap dancing and moving in different directions. And the new kids started coming along. And actually, it's the exact same thing with social media, these different platforms that keep popping up.
Yep.
That are all these players going to be here in 5 years? Well, most likely they will. But will they have the power base that they do presently right now? Most likely not. The new players are going to come along maybe that's what's motivating Facebook. They feel like they have to keep changing every which way so they don't look stale versus pissing people off and getting everyone confused.
Yeah.
The
whole web
that's
marketing.
That's my 2 bits, yeah.
Yeah, the whole web marketing strategy has completely flip-flopped.
Yeah.
When I started doing this, I went to conferences and everything, and the whole reason we got into this business is that we could do everything ourselves. We didn't need to have employees or even helpers. We just went out and did everything ourselves, and then we found out we could only grow so much, so we had to get a team. So I did the same thing. I ramped up my team, and all the successful web marketers, they all had 5, 10, 15 people working with them or more. I know some people that have 100 people on staff to do web marketing. So there are teams out there. But I'm just suggesting that I'm seeing a turn in the industry where there's a desire to downsize having all those people dedicated to money going out, to paying those people, and seeing if there's a way to just scale back a little bit and have more of the focus be on what you're able to manage yourself. So if the tools can get easier and you can integrate everything together in one place, how much easier does that make everything? And then you get to spend more time on learning, experimenting, doing all these things that you're supposed to be doing in normal web marketing world, and playing on Facebook and Google Plus and all that. And then when the leads come in through your website, then it goes into a system, and it manages them through the system, not only through the product sale, but all the way through your webinars that you have, through the product sale, through getting them into a membership system, membership levels, getting them into, eventually, here's how it works. You know this better than most, Judith, how the whole author system works. You get the idea to write a book. Well, if your book's good enough, eventually you're going to be asked to speak, right? So you need to have something related to speaking on your website. And then if you're a good enough speaker, well, eventually you're going to attract followers. And then you're going to have an established list of followers over time, and then they're going to come to you and say, Judith, could you do some consulting for our company? I mean, you don't even have to have that on your website. It's just somebody will like you enough that they'll ask you to start doing some coaching or consulting. Well, then you get into scheduling, and this is my problem. I mean, I am so hopelessly disorganized. It's always been my nemesis with web marketing, and I've got almost 100 websites out there to try to keep track of. So for me to be disorganized is really it challenges my whole livelihood sometimes. But if you can put all that into one system and up front have the system in place so that it keeps you organized, how much more time would you save? That's the question to ask. And for me, it meant that I didn't need to bring on another 8 helpers to do the same job that we did before. That's how it's really helped me. And I'm not even trying to be one product sided out here. I'm just saying there are products out there. If maybe it's even bringing what you're using now, 7, 8, 10 different products, try to scale that down to 3 or 4. Even that level of cutting out all these so many tools to have to manage, that's going to save you time. But the more you can bring all that content together, bring all that information about your customer history, and the term out there is CRM, if I have to throw a technical term out there, which stands for Customer Relation Management. That is the key to having a system that you can have all these little pieces and parts, modules, if you will, that are working all with this content of leads and customer history.
Okay, so then that if you were to say, let's just come back now to our tease as we came in, because we were going to reveal the number one secret, and that would be the missing ingredient would be that you were just referring to is the system of having the right system that will do it, or deleting the others, or getting rid of people who take your time and energy. What's the one thing?
The one thing is to get out of this idea that you need 12 different software packages and bring it down to one to manage your whole business. And I don't care if you're spending $20,000 a year or $79 a month to do it, because every business is different. Everybody's going to need a different suite of tools, but find what's right for you so that you only have one tool other than accounting. I mean, accounting is like a different thing, right? So don't even try to find something that does accounting too. This is all about managing your leads and sales and your website. That's the best thing. If you can have your website integrated with the system, maybe we should talk next segment just about WordPress and the website itself, because a lot of things have changed in that area too.
Yeah, they are changing, that's for sure. Well, we have a couple more minutes, so let's talk to, if you can do it in a couple of minutes. There's one of your things, I've heard you say this many, many times, that you got to treat every website visitor like they're a piece of gold.
That's right.
So, what are some little tidbits, nuggets? No, we have to say gold nuggets. So what are some of those critical nuggets that maybe a lot of people don't do?
Well, the first thing is that most people do not know what the majority of their website visitors are coming to their website for.
Okay.
The reason why they're there. So the tendency is to produce. Let's just focus on the opt-in, because I mean, if you're not going to get the sale on your book or your product or your service right out of the gate, well, there's 95+% of your website visitors that are just going to leave your website unless you can prove to them that you have something of extremely high value. And that's where I see one of the big problems, is that people are not offering enough value in that giveaway. For example, I haven't even changed this document, the type of document that it is, in years. I have a document on my website that I update about every 3 months. It's called 101 Realistic Methods for Getting Traffic to a Website. Nice, big, long title, right? Well, it's always been my number one opt-in white paper when I tested it early on, and I just have only that now, because that's what everybody wants. They come to my website, and what they really want is traffic. How do I get traffic to my website? So you really have to understand that for what visitors are coming for.
So when you come back, I'd like you to get into some of those tips on how to get people in the traffic, and then let's get into that all-in-one type of system, because I'm sure interested. All right, this is Judith Briles. My guest is Marty Dickinson, and you're listening to Author U, your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
This is the TogiNet Radio Network, radio with a cutting edge.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so we're talking about systems management and basically how to maintain your sanity in the insane cyber world out there. And, you know, I'm certainly one. I probably have signed up for more stuff. I have bought more software. I don't even know where the damn stuff is, much less have I never used it because it was sold to me, sounded good in doing it, and then I'm going back trying to still managing all my other stuff. So what Marty Dickinson, my guest and the co-author of Web Marketing All-in-One for Dummies, is really talking about is getting it together with people who've got kind of a visionary mode in developing systems and really letting go of stuff that's not working. Would that be right, Marty? Letting go of stuff that just doesn't work? That's exactly right, and there's so much out there. Yeah, and there's a lot of it out there, and believe me, I've bought some of it. So, and I'm going to totally confess, you know, I'm like the person who watches the infomercial. Oh my God, get my credit card out! I need one of those. Oh, I need two of those.
Well, sometimes I think people make stuff that doesn't work just because they want you to call them to do custom programming to get it to work, and then okay, now it works.
Well, that sounds a little unethical to me, but
me too. I think it happens.
Yeah, I think it could be. So we were talking about before we went to the break that I said one of your mantras was you need to treat every visitor to your website like they're a piece of gold. So one of the nuggets you threw out is that you've got to really clearly understand why they are there. And most people don't even get that. They don't. Well, that's kind of like when I work with authors. And you tell me who your reader is, the ideal reader. It's like you create the Bible for them, and also tell me what value you bring to them. So the website, what value are you going to bring to these people? And is that the value they were looking for when they got there?
Yeah, but there's an additional component to that, though.
Got it.
We've been doing that for years, and the additional component is that whatever you offer has to be staggering. It has to be so surprising that people are like, really? No way. I've got to opt in just to see if they're telling the truth. I mean, 101 ways to get traffic to a website. Yeah, they're all there. My clients use them for 3-year web marketing plans because they're all ranked by how easy they are, how fast you can get them implemented, how much they cost, and the expected ROI. So you put all those together, and you've got your web marketing plan. So they know they're getting a huge value, and I mean, I get like a 25% opt-in rate. Well, sometimes, not always 25%, but somewhere between 15 and 25% is pretty consistent.
Marty, why don't we just give them the website so they can go get it?
Sure. You can go to herenextyear.com, HERENEXTYEAR. Just got tired of everybody asking if I'd be around in 6 months. So that was, 19 years ago when they asked that question. That's when I came up with Here Next Year for the company name. So you can just go there and opt in. And, I want to do something else, Judith. Is it okay if I give your listeners a free tool?
Sure. Why not?
Nobody knows about this, but I had one of my programmer guys a long time ago. I had him create a headline generator for me because I was having so much trouble coming up with headlines for articles and blog posts and things like that, and even product names. Well, I took the same code and I changed it around a little bit, and now I can enter one topic into this little form generator thing, and I can make up to 50 killer tweets for Twitter in like a half a second. So then I can copy and paste those tweets, and they're all the same topic, but they're all mixed up so that you can go to Hootsuite and then schedule those tweets. So you were talking about, Marty, I want you to promote this podcast after we're done. Yep. Well, I'm just going to go in there and say, was on Judith's podcast again. Here's the topic we covered. And this tool is going to mix it all up, and I can go into Hootsuite, and boom, I've got these spread out over the next 3 months.
That's perfect. So how do we go get that? Here's
how you go get it. But now there's nothing fancy. This is in the background. Nobody knows it's there.
That's fine.
Go to herenextyear.com/tweet generator.
Love it. All right. I'm going to, you know what, Marty, I'm going to test you out because I put in a good half hour in creating the tweets after every show.
Yep.
That I sent out to you, and then I have, we get it on schedule, and I have my VA start putting out. So I think I'm going to test you out, my friend, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to do my hand version, and then I'm going to do the Marty tweet generator, and we're going to see what we come out.
That's awesome. So now here's the trick, okay?
Okay.
Here's remember the big if, what I was talking about before?
Yeah.
Is I want you to try it, and then I want you to send some emails to me what you think would make this tool better. This is something you don't have to opt in for. Nobody knows it's there. You can't search for it on Google. It's not there.
Right.
This is a private page. So go try it and then tell me what would make it more effective for you. And that's the kind of company that you need. When somebody's making tools, you want to get involved with a company that is willing to enhance their product and not just sit on it for the next 10 years.
Exactly. So, and that works out perfectly. And so here's what, and let me ask you, I have a question. Does it put in hashtags?
You
automatically
choose 2 hashtags, and then it generates the stuff for you. You pick half of them that you want to keep, put in 2 more hashtags, and run it again. So you can come up with as many hashtags as you want.
All right, so I'm game. I'm totally game. So I'll play with it. All right, so let's get back to that. So we talked, you have to create something that's so freaking staggering. Actually, you just told me something that was so incredibly staggering. So if I really love it, and if I come up with a variation or something, are you going to let me share it with my followers on my website?
Absolutely. And
all right,
you asked the question of what brings traffic, and that's why I brought that up, is because it's not good enough anymore just to have a blog post out there and expect a lot to happen. It's not good enough to even have a white paper of 3 ways to stay motivated this year. I mean, who cares? There's so much of that. You have to be willing to look at your audience and create something that is just really impressive or staggering. And in my case with that 101 white paper, that's what I was going after, is just, let's put together something that it's not a video, it's not fancy, and it's just a white paper, for goodness sakes, but the way you can organize it and manage it and put it into your marketing campaign is priceless. I mean, you'd have to pay somebody a couple $1,000 to put together that plan for you. So that I just share that as an example of how you can look at your audience and come up with something they can really use, and not even have to charge for it. But you use that a couple of times and really commit yourself to Twitter and see some results and see what that brings you. And I've made a new friend because hopefully you'll hook up with me on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and all those. And that's how this all works. We're just a bunch of buddies hanging out with each other and trying to share stuff we learn.
Which is terrific. All right, so I'm totally game to do all that and play with it. All right, so we've got a couple of ideas for turning gold into. Now, you had another thing that you're talking about getting higher conversion rates for every email you send to your list. So what's a little tip on doing that?
Well, the first thing to do is there's a term in the industry called segmenting. You need to get into segmenting your list. So as soon as somebody opts in, that's the perfect time to say, instead of delivering a white paper or access to a video immediately, just say something like, hey, thanks for opting in. I just want to ask you one question. Are you a business owner or are you a student or something? It depends what your market is.
Got
whatever that is, just ask a simple question and use a survey tool that can bring that information to you so you know something about your list. So, and that, there are systems out there you can use for surveying, but the follow-up with that is that it should all be automated. So I'm coming back to that same thing, that you want the whole system to be integrated with everything else that you do with your business. It has to be all automated so that a tag is produced and entered into the customer record. So that person signs up for that opt-in, they answer your question, and all of a sudden, oh, yes, that person has been hacked on WordPress in the past year. Well, if you've been hacked on WordPress in the past year, then here is a blog post that you're going to get your white paper, but let me just direct you to this blog post over here that you really need to know about. And so I've now segmented automatically by someone answering a simple question, yes or no, or choosing from a selection of radio buttons of answers, and then being automatically redirected to a blog post, to a video, to a product, a squeeze page, a sales page. It can be all kinds of things that people are directed to, but now you don't have to wait for people to get your series of 15 autoresponders before they buy. I mean, that's what we used to educate people with is, this online sales stuff is even harder than regular sales. And in any regular sales training, they're going to tell you that you need to touch a prospect 7 times before you can even expect for them to buy from you. And it's even worse on the web. It's like 12 or 15. But even those days are gone because we're able to segment. So when somebody comes right in through that opening, that big opening of the funnel in the top, immediately we're segmenting them to it's not a sales ploy. It's really not that. It's segmenting the people who need something, and you're simply providing a faster means of them getting there. And we just couldn't do that before. The technology just wasn't there.
Yeah, and that's all changed. I mean, that's really amazing. Okay, so here's what I want to do. We have our final break popping up here, and I'd like to talk about, some of these author skills because the systems, and let's talk about Cloud 360 just a little bit, CloudNet 360, and that let's also talk about some of the author skills and credentials that they can build up residual income because they're all interested in. Okay, I'm willing to work hard, but I want to work a lot smarter. Okay. So let's bring that back. All right. You're listening to Author U. It's your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the Book Shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider, or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the Book Shepherd. If you want to create a book with no regrets, give her a call today. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207. Or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
Reaching out from the heartland of the United States with quality programming, this is TogiNet Radio.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, another fast hour is going by. I want to remind all of you listening in that the Author U Extravaganza is popping up before we know it. And this week is the very last week to take advantage of the early bird discount, which will end on the 31st. And everyone who signs up right now, if you're an Author U member, for $3.95, you will get the 3-day extravaganza, which includes the deep dive dinner workshop. And that's a huge bargain. Remember, you get all your food at this event. So, we're not going to, you don't get nickeled and dimed at all. You're really treated like royalty. And I'd encourage you, the entire agenda is up on the authoru.org website. Go, get signed up, take advantage of it now, because the prices are going to change after the weekend is over. So authoru.org, the extravaganza, where we have a huge trade show. All the players are there. Joel Comm will keynote it on Friday morning. We have someone coming in who is doing how to construct and do a TED Talk, which I am really looking forward to. We have the Deep Dive Dinner Workshop with Heather Lutzy, who is one amazing girl geek, knows a lot. So be there, May 7th through 9th, Denver, Colorado. AuthorU.org. Our site is the Renaissance Denver Hotel, and there are special room rates for attendees. All right, and Marty will be there. Marty's going to be speaking on Thursday in our special Eaglet session on some of the things that we're talking about now, and he'll also be one of our exhibitors. So he's going to be really demonstrating some awesome products. Okay, Marty, back to you.
Yep, and it's actually going to be even more special because I'm going to have my buddy from CloudNet 360, Senior product manager. This is the guy that works with all the programmers to add all the new features in. Gary Jazarski, he is going to be there with me, and he'll be able to dig into the system. Any question, any feature that you've ever wanted to run your business, he's the guy to ask to say, is this in the system? Can it do this? Will it ever do this? And and he knows every product out there. I know most of them, but Gary is just so product driven. He's just one of those people that knows every feature about everything. So very special to have him there.
Which is great. And, and he doesn't talk all geek, so you understand him, which is very good. All right. So with that, one of the things I wanted to tap into some about the how can we take our skills? I'm an author, in my creds, I've certainly got credentials to build that residual income empire. So what are some of those tips there? And also, Marty, I know that you really tune into positioning, search engine optimization. What are some of the tidbits that we can jump on that one?
Well, let's start with the residual income first, because I think everybody, especially speakers and authors, I think there's a trend with all the, I'm kind of speaking to beginning speakers and authors right now, because there's this dream out there of writing the book and then you're on stage all over the world, Zig Ziglar, speaking 300 days a week, that kind of thing. And from the speakers that I've been working with that have been doing this for a while, they're all kind of, they're still out there speaking, but they're a little bit more worried about going overseas and things like that. So they're scaling back and wanting to be with their families more, and they're looking for alternative ways to generate the same income that a $15,000 keynote would bring to them. So the answer, I think, has always been, it's not anything new, but it's having a membership website, and it's attracting enough people to that membership website where you can do more things than just have a one-level membership of $9.95 a month or something like that, or where you have a level 2 and a level 3, and then you have the big enchilada. People like Mark Victor Hansen have these giant platinum programs where you pay them $20,000, $40,000, $80,000 a year, and then you go meet with them for like a day or 2 days, right. And you just spend time with them. So there are these big tamale type of products out there that you can produce when you have a membership-based system or business model where you're trying to attract more members. And that's where the challenge comes in, because it's always been a very difficult thing to make a membership website. My first website in 1995 was a membership website. There wasn't even a term for it, and it was the first thing that I started. So we had to do everything from scratch. And it's still even up until a couple of years ago, it was very difficult to find a good membership platform where you didn't have to spend so much time supporting that product and trying to figure out how to make it work. And that's where, well, all right, CloudNet 360 really is the only system I've seen out there that because I'm not a designer or a programmer, that's why I had those people on staff. It's the only system I've been able to manage myself as a membership platform, where I don't have to create new pages every time I add a new product. I just create the membership system in one place and then keep uploading new content. And then I just click a button to assign who gets access to that content. It's so simple, and it takes all the programming out of it so that I can focus on creating the opt-ins, bringing people through that sales path, through the sales funnel, segmenting the list, getting them into the first level of membership. It's all one big growing plan that you put together with the big tamale on the one end, and you have the free offer on the front end. But the key, again, coming back full circle now, is having everything working together in an environment where you don't have to be a programmer to put all this stuff together, or pay a programmer either, because it's all right there.
Well, and that's that's the all-in-one shopping, which I think that a lot of people want. So they don't have to go all over Timmit too, but they also need to have it simplified, which, I know it's bugged me. And we haven't even mentioned the word that I know a lot of people have jumped on, one of the very high end. software packages, and then all of a sudden they realized, oh my God, I have to have a full-time person to figure out how to run this bloody thing. And, that's where we call it confusion soft. They don't know what's going on, which is at least I didn't jump on that bandwagon and go down the area. So I want things simple, and I think most of us do, that you don't need, you don't want brain damage. For that.
And that, this even ties in with your original question in this segment about SEO. Because once you have that infrastructure in place, then your motivation skyrockets for writing blog posts and participating on Facebook and Twitter, because you know that every morsel of content that you put out there on the web is a potential visitor to your website. And then you have this amazing confidence that that it's not just a website you have sitting out there, but you have this whole system to bring people into, to not help them in 30 days' time. It's going to help them immediately because you're segmenting everybody that comes in. And see, this is the challenge that we have, Judith, is formulating a new culture of how somebody actually operates a business. We've been working on the web for so long and generating all that content and all that traffic and watching conversion rates and everything else. But I think we've really been missing the boat for the past few years because we just really haven't been looking to see how we can internalize all this and put it into a system where we don't have to be so manual about everything and being so technical support oriented and just focusing on having the confidence and going out there and getting the traffic and knowing that our system is going to back us up and do the work.
Well, I know I did a workshop a couple of weeks ago and just showing, how to manage some of this. Like Hootsuite is one of the tools that I like.
Sure.
And discovering Hootsuite, just made my life so much easier.
Right.
And, I was gone for 10 days and few people knew it because I had every blog was out, every schedule was out, every tweet, every posting, it was out. Now, now I'm back, I'll let people know I was at the Publishing at Sea cruise. And this is, these kind of things because I don't want to let people know I'm out of town because, somebody's truck could come into my home and take everything out. That's not a good idea. And It's so easy to happen on social media. So, Marty, we only have a couple of minutes, so very quickly, what are 3 quick tips on increasing our SEO positioning?
Well, number one, I would say know that there is life after WordPress. As much as a fan as I am of WordPress, there is life after WordPress, and even CloudNet 360 has a website builder in there, and I don't have to worry about virus issues anymore. And the first website I set up in their system, I was on top of Google for Web Services Coach in 2 days. I just put the website up there. I didn't even try hard, and the darn thing was up there on top of Google. I was so happy because it wasn't a WordPress website, and I could still get top positions on Google with it. So that's number one.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2 is going to be still tying in with Google+. I can't say that's new, but every time I bring it up, there's 3 out of 10 people don't know about it. When you make a blog post, go immediately to Google+ and copy and paste your link to that blog post, say something about it, and publish it. And Google+ will see Google, because Google+ is a Google-owned product.
Yeah, exactly.
Google will see that post faster than anything else you can do. It is such a direct link. And number 3, the hype that you've heard about links is important. People are saying all over the place, don't even bother going after links on websites. Links will always be important with SEO. It's just that you have to be careful about the kind of links that. So that's really all we can go into in detail, but I just want to trash that rumor.
Great. Okay, so that's it. Thank you, Marty Dickinson. We've been talking about CloudNet 360, managing systems, SEO optimization, and you getting better at what you do. It's Judith Briles, author of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Next week, Joel Friedlander will be joining us. Talk to you later.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,